This tutorial will explain all the controls, functions, connections, and procedures for using the Panasonic AG455 and 456 SVHS camcorders available in the Communication Technology Laboratory. Following this tutorial, you may take a quiz on the operation of the camcorder, which you may take as many times as you need. Only a perfect score will pass. This quiz is the last page of the SVHS camcorder tutorial in the tutorial section of the Comtech Lab website. On taking the quiz, your score will be sent to the Communication Technology office at Kavanaugh Hall 446. Students with a passing score will be allowed to borrow a camcorder under the laboratory guidelines. You do not have to take the quiz to view the tutorial. Access to this tutorial is open to anyone. Be aware that the use of this equipment is limited to work of an academic nature. Additionally, students in courses which are currently supported by the lab will have first access to lab equipment. One of the greatest dangers for a camcorder is moisture. Moisture will cause the videotape to clog the record heads of the VCR and, in quantity, such as rain or a pool of water, can short the electrical system. The most common problem with moisture occurs from condensation. To avoid condensation, be sure the camcorder has time to warm up or cool down to the temperature of the environment in which you will be operating it. For instance, if you transport the unit in the winter to a heated building, give the unit time to warm up to the warmer temperature in the room. The moist air in the room will condense on the cold camcorder, and the resulting moisture will cause problems. When the unit has equalized temperature with the environment, any condensation will have evaporated. If you attempt to operate the unit before equalizing the temperature, the do indicator will flash and the camcorder will shut off. If this occurs, wait about 10 to 15 minutes before restarting the unit. Never put any objects except a cassette into the camcorder. Never aim the lens at the sun or reflection of the sun, as this can cause permanent damage to the CCD image sensor. Damage can occur whether the unit is on or not. Never use the viewfinder as a carrying handle. Never connect any cable to any unit with the power switch on. This includes AC, DC, audio, and video cables. Do not store the unit in places where extreme temperatures occur, such as in direct sunlight, closed cars, whether summer or winter, or places of high humidity. Do not leave a cassette stored in the camcorder. Do not charge the battery for longer than 2 hours at the maximum. The case is opened by pushing the two locks on either side of the handle away from the handle. Then pull the lid open. A camcorder kit consists of several items which are always present in a kit: the camcorder case, the AG455 or AG456 camcorder, AC adapter and battery charger, DC input cable, NiCad battery in camcorder, battery pack charging cable, NiCad battery in compartment, and the manual. All items should be returned to their appropriate locations when wrapping the equipment. Please be sure to coil cables neatly and velcro down all parts not behind a compartment door. The power cable for the AC adapter charger and the camcorder power cable should be tucked under the large elastic band on the lower right of the case as you face it. Keep cables, straps, etc. away from the edges of the case, as they can keep the case from closing properly. The lens cap can also hold the case lid up if it is not straight. The lid should be closed with the two locks set all the way out away from the handle. Then push the two locks toward the handle to secure. If you are using AC power for the camcorder rather than a battery, use the following procedure. The AC adapter and the camcorder should both be off before you connect any cables. Connect the DC input cable to the DC output jack of the AC adapter. Connect the DC input cable to the DC input jack of the camcorder. Connect the AC adapter to an AC outlet, 120 volt AC, 60 Hz. Turn on the AC adapter. Turn on the camcorder. The power indicator in the viewfinder should indicate full power all the time. The AC adapter can be used with or without a battery in the camcorder's battery compartment. When you are done shooting, use the following wrap procedure. Turn off the camcorder. Turn off the AC adapter. Disconnect the AC adapter from the AC outlet. Disconnect the DC input cable from the DC input jack of the camcorder. Disconnect the DC input cable from the DC output jack of the AC adapter. Always wrap your cables neatly with the velcro tie. If you are using a battery for the camcorder rather than AC power, then follow this procedure. Remove the battery that is stored in the battery compartment of the camcorder. Insert the battery or the secondary battery into the battery compartment of the camcorder with the positive and negative poles in the correct position. With the camcorder on, the power indicator in the viewfinder will show the power level on the battery. The power indicator in the viewfinder will go down as the battery is used. Use the battery pack eject lever to eject the battery. To charge a battery, connect the battery pack to the AC adapter using the battery pack charging cable. Connect the AC adapter to an AC outlet, 120 volt AC, 60 Hz. Turn the AC adapter on. When charging is started, the red lamp lights up. At full charge, the charge light on the adapter will shine red. When the battery is full, the charge light will shine green, indicating it is trickle charging, much like topping off a gas tank. When the battery can't take any more power, the charge light will go out. You should never leave a battery on the charger when the charge light is out. Overcharging will damage the battery. You may charge both batteries at the same time by connecting a battery and a camcorder with a battery inserted into the battery compartment. When the AC adapter is on and the camcorder is off, both batteries will charge. Charging two batteries in this manner will take twice as long as one. A fully charged battery pack will last 120 minutes under ideal situations, that is, constant recording. Many starts and stops, automatic functions, digital functions, and VCR playback operations will shorten the total operation time. Before you begin shooting, you should choose the tape format you intend to use. The AG455 or 456 is an SVHS camcorder, which means it can record or play back on either SVHS or regular VHS tape. SVHS tapes are more expensive, but recording on them in SVHS mode provides a better picture than regular VHS. Whichever you choose, be sure to check the SVHS switch on the camcorder. The SVHS switch has two settings, on auto and off. In on auto, the camcorder will sense which kind of cassette you put in and record in VHS or SVHS depending on the cassette. In off, the camcorder will only record in regular VHS no matter what kind of cassette is used. So, if you spend extra money to record in SVHS, you want to make sure the switch is not in the off position. In fact, the on auto setting is best, and that is the default position, but it does not hurt to check. Remove the tripod from the carrying case. Loosen each leg lock and extend the legs to the length necessary for the height at which you want to shoot. Then lock the extensions in place and spread the legs. Level the tilt pan head and lock it in place. Place the quick release plate of the camcorder front first into the quick release adapter. When the back of the camcorder comes down, the quick release adapter will lock it in. You can level the tripod by looking through the eyepiece and compare the side of the frame to any of the vertical lines in the shot, such as door frames, window frames, corners of walls or buildings, etc. Make sure the vertical lines of the picture are parallel to the side of the frame. You can do this by adjusting the length of the legs or simply pulling a leg closer to the center until straight. Use the tilt and pan lock controls to adjust the drag on the tilt pan head. You always want to have a little resistance when you tilt or pan the camera for a smooth move. After you have supplied power using a battery or the AC adapter and you are ready to shoot, you must turn the camcorder on using the power switch. The camcorder's camera VCR selector cover must be pushed forward so the camcorder is in the camera mode for recording. Use the tape eject button to eject the cassette carriage. Place the cassette in with the door end down and the label side out. Gently push the cassette carriage back into the camcorder. The tape will automatically be pulled out of the cassette and wrapped around the record heads. The camcorder will put itself in record mode and pause the tape to wait for you to roll the tape and record. You may start recording by pressing one of the start-stop buttons. You may use the button on top of the lens or on the side of the lens, whichever is easiest for you to reach. Each time you pause, then unpause the tape using the start-stop button, and assemble edit will be performed on the tape. If the camcorder is left on with a tape and a battery in it, but the tape is not rolling, it will shut off after 5 minutes. The camcorder's camera VCR selector cover must be pushed back so the camcorder is in the VCR mode for playback. Pushing the selector cover back will reveal a standard set of VCR controls, including play, rewind, fast forward, stop, pause, and still advance. These controls work as you would expect. Be aware that if the VCR is in stop mode, then rewind and fast forward will move the tape as quickly as possible with only the camera shot showing, but the counter will still indicate tape position. If the VCR is in play mode, then holding down rewind or fast forward will move the tape more slowly with the picture visible in the viewfinder. A-dub and insert are audio and video editing functions for in-camera editing. Since most students will be shooting video for later editing, these functions should not be needed. To make sure that what you see in the viewfinder is in focus, you should adjust the viewfinder for your own vision. Look through the eyepiece. If the white characters which are superimposed over the picture look blurry, you should adjust the magnifier lens. Move the lever on the bottom of the viewfinder back and forth until the characters are in sharp focus. When the characters are sharp, the viewfinder is in focus, even if the picture is not sharp. The picture sharpness is a function of the focus of the lens. The camcorder's internal microphone is the most reliable microphone you can use. It may not be the best for a particular situation, but you will always hear something. The microphone has 3 settings: wide, tele, and zoom. The wide setting adjusts the pickup pattern of the microphone to omnidirectional, which means it will pick up sounds from all directions equally. The loudest sounds will be the closest, which means the camera operator will be picked up very well. This setting is appropriate for general ambient sound. The tele setting adjusts the pickup pattern of the microphone to unidirectional, which means it will pick up sounds in front of the camcorder the best. This setting is appropriate for people talking right to the camcorder. The zoom setting allows the pickup pattern to change along with the zoom lens. When the lens is zoomed out, the microphone will be omnidirectional. When the lens is zoomed in, the microphone will be unidirectional. The external microphone jack is available for you to input a different microphone for different situations. Any microphone you use should be a high impedance, unbalanced type with an 1/8" pin connector. When a plug is inserted into the external microphone jack, the internal microphone will be disconnected automatically to be replaced by whatever signal is present at the plug. External microphones can be very helpful, but they introduce many variables, such as a poor connection or low battery levels, which can hinder your sound quality. Always be more aware of your sound recording and check it frequently when using any external microphone. The easiest way to monitor your audio is to listen to your ear speaker, which is located on the left side of the camcorder, close to where your ear will be if the camcorder is on your shoulder. This speaker will not provide great fidelity, but you can tell if you are getting audio recorded. In the back of the camcorder are 2 switches that affect your audio playback. The speaker on-off switch allows you to turn the ear speaker on or off as you like. The audio selector switch allows you to monitor your normal linear audio tracks or your hi-fi digital tracks or a mix of both. This switch will only be important if you are using the internal editing functions of the camcorder. It is typical to leave this switch set to mix. There are 2 RCA type jacks colored white and red, which will allow you to feed your audio to an external video monitor. The cables for these connections is not standard in the kit. You will have to ask for them separately at the lab or supply them yourself. In the back of the camcorder there are 2 video jacks which allow you to feed your video to an external video monitor. The S-Video Out jack allows you to send video to a monitor which has an S-Video or YC input. The yellow RCA connector allows you to send video to a monitor which has a composite video input. In either case, the connector on the monitor will look just like the one on the camcorder, so you will know which one you may use. Generally, the S-Video signal is better than the composite video. The cables for these connections is not standard in the kit. You will have to ask for them separately at the lab or supply them yourself. It is important to adjust the camera for the color temperature of light you are shooting under so all the colors in the picture will appear correct. This is especially important as the viewfinder is black and white, so you will not notice improper color hues until you play back the footage on a color monitor. When you are in the manual setting, the white balance indicator will be visible. If you need to white balance, the indicator will blink slowly. To white balance, place something white under the lighting you will be using. Zoom into the white so that it fills the frame as much as possible. Adjust the iris so the white appears a light gray. Press the WB button on the camcorder. The white balance indicator will blink quickly. When the indicator stops blinking, the white balance is done and you can stop pressing the WB button. Your camera is now balanced for the current lighting conditions. If you change the lighting conditions or move to another location, you should re-white balance. Sometimes you need to lock the iris to a specific setting rather than depending on the auto iris function. To do this, the camcorder must be in the manual setting and the iris shutter selection switch must be set to iris. Pressing the open button will increase the amount of light entering the lens, and pressing the close button will decrease the amount of light. The actual f-stop setting will appear in the viewfinder as you adjust the iris. Open means the iris is as open as it can get. The additional two settings, op plus G1 and op plus G2, stand for open plus gain 1 or gain 2. Gain electronically amplifies the signal to make it even brighter in very low light situations, but gain also amplifies the noise in the signal, so the picture will have noticeable grain in it. Although it may seem a good idea to rely on the automatic focus of the camcorder, conditions are often such that the focus is constantly changing, such as when there is a lot of action at different distances from the lens. In most cases, you will want to lock the point of focus at one spot by manually focusing the camcorder. To do this, the camcorder must be in the manual setting and the focus button pressed so that the MF or manual focus indicator shows in the viewfinder. To properly focus, zoom all the way into the subject as close as the lens will allow. Use the focus ring at the front of the lens to adjust the focus of the picture. Then you can zoom back out and compose the shot as you wish. The focus will be good until the subject or the camera moves and changes the distance between the lens and the subject. To quickly check the last shot recorded, you can use the camera search rocker switch instead of putting the camcorder into VCR mode. After stopping a recording, push the back or minus side of the switch and the videotape will scan backward for as long as you hold the switch down. When you are back far enough, release the switch and the video will pause. Push the front or plus side of the switch and the video will play forward at normal speed. Continue to hold down the switch until you get to the end of the shot, then release the switch. If you wish to fade into or fade out on a shot, you will use the fade button. When you press the fade button, the picture and sound will slowly fade to black and silence. When you release the fade button, the picture and sound will slowly fade up to the camera shot and full audio level. So, to fade into a first shot, compose your first shot in the viewfinder, then hold down the fade button until the screen is black. While holding the fade button down, start recording. After a few seconds, release the fade button and the picture will fade in. To fade out on a last shot, start recording the shot as you would any other. At the end of the shot, hold down the fade button. When the picture has faded down to black, hold it down and record black for a few seconds. Stop the recording, then release the fade button. The different words and symbols keyed over the picture in the viewfinder are referred to as the on-screen display. Using the OSD or on-screen display button, you may remove these indications from the screen if you are distracted by them, but the warning alarm indications will still appear as necessary. The warning alarm indications include index, which flashes at the beginning of each shot as you start the tape in record. End, which appears when you get to the end of your tape. No cassette, which flashes when there is no video cassette in the recorder. Low battery, which flashes when the battery is low. Head clog, which flashes when the VCR detects that one or both of the video heads has a large piece of dirt in it. Dew warning, which will flash just before the camcorder is shut down. If there is too much moisture in the VCR housing, the dew sensor will shut the camcorder off. Low lithium battery, which flashes when the lithium battery, which keeps the date and time information in memory, is too low. The date and time appear on the on-screen display, but they are special because they are the only text that will appear in your video if they are visible. To prevent this from happening, you should use the Date/Time button to remove them. The Date/Time button uses 3 settings in rotation. If the date and time are visible, pressing the button will remove the time and leave the date. Pressing the button again will remove the date as well. Pressing the button again will redisplay both time and date. Use this button until the setting is correct for your application. You can record a freeze frame of a shot for as long as necessary. Be sure that the digital mode selector switch is set to the upper position. Compose the shot you need, then press the still strobe button once. The picture will freeze. You may then record the freeze frame for as long as you deem necessary. The digital zoom function is an electronic blowing up of the picture which acts as an extension to the lens 12:1 optical zoom range. There are 2 levels of digital zoom available on the camcorder. To activate digital zoom, be sure the digital mode select switch is set to the upper position. Then press the digital zoom button once. D-Zoom 1 will appear in the viewfinder. If you now zoom into the subject, the lens will continue to zoom in until you reach 24:1. Press the digital zoom button again and D-Zoom 2 will appear in the viewfinder. If you now zoom into the subject, the lens will continue to zoom in until you reach 100:1. At this point, the blow-up effect of the electronic picture expansion will be very noticeable. Press the digital zoom button again and the D-Zoom indicator in the viewfinder will disappear, and the lens will return to its normal 12:1 optical zoom range.